right, good morning. I hope you're well today. Welcome to a little fasting space discussion. Grab a coffee or tea if you're hanging out with me here, and I'm going to dive into this topic today, leading with the heart. So, when I'm trying to help people lose weight or move toward a space of dialing in on health, I think so often, right, stress can be the driver of that, right? So if we want to try to unwind the whole process, then we can't be embarking on any sort of path that is amping up the stress. Really, stress reduction to me is like level one of trying to move in a good direction. So today we're going to move toward that concept by diving in on this idea, leading with the heart. And so that's been my kind of meditation or thought of the week, and I'll tell you about that. How are you doing? Say hello in the chat if you're inclined, if you're here live, or say hi in the comments, and let me know how you're doing. I was watching a video this week. If followers of the channel know that I'm a runner, I love running, and I talk about running from time to time. I was watching a running form video, trying to help get all the body mechanics in the right way. And this video, I don't remember if it was called Leading with the Heart, but the whole idea was leading with the heart was like, sometimes I've seen some people talking about good posture. Say, imagine you're like a Christmas ornament and someone's like hanging you on the tree and it's trying to help you, get your core engaged, get your chest up. And because so much in our society, right? This is me here at this station where we're rolled forward, we're hunched at the shoulders, we're kinked here. This is not a good posture for almost anything, right? So this was saying it's the same posture, same mechanics for walking. They were saying leading with the heart, right? Helps you open across the chest. And they were picturing moving through that the heart is like pulling you forward through the world. And I thought it was such a beautiful metaphor, if not, practical advice. I mean, I think it really is. It does help you get in good mechanics for walking and running. Pat is here. Good morning. Happy Sunday to you. Glad to have you here. I hope that you are doing well. So I thought so as I was running this week, and I was thinking that, okay, leading with a heart with a posture felt physically good in the body. I was like, it's an easier way to think of moving through the world, or at least a more fun or more thoughtful way than thinking of like something else. And then as you're doing it, okay, leading with the heart, obviously the metaphor, it's like a physical practice to think of the heart physically pulling you. But then, of course, the metaphorical heart, the emotional center. I think in this society, so often we're leading with the brain, right? It's like leading with the thought and leading with the heart, leading with that. Maybe that is a more kind and compassionate way to think about moving through the world. So I'm going to try to unpack that a little bit today. So from a physical standpoint, if we're going to try to have good posture, if we're going to try to let the heart lead, one thing that I think of with that is that is it really is a strong way to move. I talk with people, in my primary care practice a lot about posture because we don't think about it in body mechanics. Do you know the number one reason that people come into a primary care office, the top complaint is back pain? In the US, it's not that way everywhere, but back pain, huge. And back pain is hugely caused, by our, mechanics, right? And so when things are out of alignment, a lot of back pain, muscular, because, well, I won't turn this into a back pain talk, but I try to tell people, okay, you want to approach your day with strength, right? You got to stand up straight. Think of like a boxer, right? Somebody gonna be in some conflict, A boxer is not hunch. This is like if you're getting totally pounded. It's not a strong spot, but a confidence, right? You want to approach your day with confidence. So part of leading with the heart to me is like finding strength, both physically and emotionally. It's two very tied. We want to be moving forward in our day with strength. I think leading with the heart is like that. Especially on the physical side, yes. And then on the emotional side, I think the thing I want to tie into is compassion, right? So like leading with the heart, we think have a heart for people. Be compassionate, and then especially with ourselves. Like I've said on the channel before, we need compassion, self-compassion. Show compassion to ourselves first. And then as we have built out that skill, it'll help us to show compassion to other people. So physically moving forward, I got to keep reminding myself, even to do it here, sitting here, Open up the heart. That's the way to approach the week. Help you be lighter, Can we find a lightness this week? When you're leading with the heart, okay, that's opening up. It's not closed in. It's open up, it's lifting. That's a perspective of lightness and ease. That's what we're trying to find. It's a type of perspective I have people bring to a fasting space, right? Very open, very voluntary, doesn't have to last any longer than you want, but leading with strength and openness and lightness. Lightness ultimately the goal, right? It's like if weight loss is our goal, we're trying to be physically lighter. Okay, approaching it with an attitude of lightness. That's a beautiful way to think about it. Become lighter by being, you have to be lighter. That's like walking the path, right? It's not just how we carry the body, right? So carry the body. How do we carry our story, right? I've been thinking a lot this week. It's like, we're kind of like, we are the stories we tell ourselves, right? What are the story that you're telling yourself today about who you are, about the things that have happened, right? And how they have shaped and affected you? What is the story? How do you reframe that going forward? So many times the way we tell our story, it wasn't consciously chosen. It's just how it kind of happened. We can reframe it. Heart can help you reframe that when you dial in. So many times, a lot of the stories, if we're really honest with ourselves, when we really try to, open up with ourselves, we have guilt about things, mistakes that we made, things that we messed up. And we carry that that's weighing us down, right? That is a burden. Having compassion is like letting go of that. That's opening back up. When we're telling ourselves a negative story, that invites a lot of all or nothing thinking. Like if we're stuck in a story, it's like, I am this way. Things are this way. When we start thinking about that, we start opening up and say, well, what are the stories that I'm telling myself? This is the sort of mindset where you can really get into a space where you can change some things. I mean, change can be very difficult, right? People always say, how do I change something? How do I change? Especially change how we feel about ourselves. That's like getting to the root level. So it's very hard. We develop emotional eating habits to cope with stress and cope with trauma. And so much of that trauma and so much of the things that we have to cope with are things that have happened to us in the past that we bring with us and carry with us. They're like thoughts spinning around in the mind, right? That we keep having the same thoughts, and they're like well-worn path that we're always walking around. And so you say, how do you break a cycle like that? How do you move in a new direction? Okay. So to me, this is leading with the heart, like instead of leading with the brain, right? Brain is this over-analyzing thinking machine that gets stuck in grooves, right? Heart is more of a feeling, right? So how do we feel ourselves to a different type of emotional space? Get some new habits that are more grounded in the body. By leading with compassion, by leading with the feeling, like when you sit with yourself and you think about, where do I want to go? What is really important? What do I want to accomplish? Okay. A lot of times I think you're not going to get there so much by thinking this way, but you will get there at least to a deeper level by feeling your way there. Pat says, for me, when I'm exhausted, the world is a dark place. Yeah. First day of a vacation, the world is beautiful. I'm trying to live in the beautiful world every day, but that takes work to keep that mindset. Boy, it sure does. Sure does. I've definitely experienced this sort of thing in my life. I experience it as a cycle, definitely do. I get stressed out, I get overloaded. It starts the negative thinking. The negative thinking, it just drives, I don't know, intensity or a feeling like I have to that I'm not doing enough, that I'm not good enough. And then that leads me to, in the moment, seem like rational decisions. Dial further in on all the things that are overloading, and it's just a cycle. So, yeah, taking a break, a vacation, that can be a reset, right? So, trying to absolutely make space for a vacation to totally take a break, and then mini vacations in our day, right? That's like setting aside some time in each day for a meditation, a journaling, to that to me is how I have tried to keep that space going. It's like, if you picture it like a slide, okay, here we had this beautiful vacation and we got ourselves actually de-stressed a bit, and then we get back into the flow. It can be kind of like a slide, and then until we hit, and then we have to try to work our way up again. To me, is like building in mindfulness practices and intentional space in our day are like little breaks. Like, oh, we're going here, break. Like, and we try to, at least like a, kind of a sine wave, like ride the waves here. That would be what it would look like to be effectively coping and managing with stress and things, is to build in a practices where you can ride the waves up here instead of just letting it free fall or slide down. So when I think about leading with the heart, I think about let the heart set the intention, right? What does the heart feel? Not always leading here, and trying to rely on that as the way. Let the brain fill in the details, right? Let the brain fill in the details. That's what it's really good at. If we're letting the brain set the agenda, the brain has like infinite possibility too, and it's like, oh, we can do all these different things. It can feel overwhelmed. That can create a cycle of anxiety. When we have the intention, when we're grounded and moving, and then we task the brain, okay, let's do it, right? That can really help. So when I say leading with the heart, what does it mean to you? What do you think of in your life when you say, oh, leading with the heart? Do you feel, does that resonate? Do you say, oh, this is where I think that is leading me? That's what I'd encourage you to think of this week. What does it look like to lead with the heart in my own life? And where ideally would I like to see that go? Is there a space in your life where you could find more compassion for yourself, where you could be gentler and kinder and more thoughtful? So many times we're playing the weight loss game, right? That's a long-term game. I always say a marathon, not a sprint, right? Not really going to get there by punishing yourself. You're not going to punish your way to long-term success. Very unlikely. And even if you did, it wouldn't be nice. I wouldn't suggest it. Did you ever watch, who is this guy I saw? David Goggins. Did you ever see this guy? He's famous, sports YouTuber. I think he was some sort of Navy SEAL or something. And then after getting out of the military, he became an ultra athlete and set world records in ultra marathons. But he is the most intense, the most punish yourself person. And I watched a couple interviews with him. He's like, don't listen to me. He's like, this is just what I do because I'm crazy. And he is crazy, I think. But I mean, it can be motivational to watch him, but I would never advise having that kind of attitude. Holy cow. I mean, you want to become the world's top ultra marathoner, maybe that's what you have to do. But I don't think that's good for you, though. Find some self-care and compassion. A much better path, much more sustainable. So my reflections for the week, or my goals for the week, okay, stand tall, good posture, approaching the week with strength. Leading with the heart is like leading with compassion and grace. Compassion, some people I think would cynically put compassion in the weakness category. Compassion is strength, that's what I would say. Compassion is finding strength and enduring strength in the face of difficulty. Didn't I write something like that? I did. Leading with the heart is a mindset of compassion that does the hard work out of love and never guilt. I love that. I do. I'll tell you, practice it this week. Practice leading with the heart. See if it takes you in a better direction. See if you find it to be a helpful mindset or guide for the week. Maybe physically think of it as you're moving. It'll help the body. And then as you're physically doing it, let that be a little reminder to dive into that emotional center and remind yourself why we're doing that. So those are my thoughts of the day. It's a beautiful spring day here in Madison. I am going to go and take my dog for a little walk, enjoy the morning, practice this in my own self, leading with the heart, take some space on a walk for some reflection, really dial in on the mindset for the week. I encourage you to do the same. I hope you have a beautiful day today, a beautiful week. Stay in touch on the channel, and I will look forward to connecting with you again next week.